Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. Warriors fans miss the Splash Brothers, who won several championships together. Could Klay Thompson's return to the Warriors be possible? In today's NBA, nothing is impossible, and a trade has been suggested so that the Curry-Thompson duo can play together again. The Golden State Warriors are entering the twilight of Steph Curry's career, and they owe it to him to put a competitive team on the court to contend for one last championship. With veterans Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green still on the roster, the Warriors have their battle-tested veterans in place. But years of trying to walk the fine line of a youth movement have left their roster questionable at best come playoff time. Golden State might need to mortgage some of their youngsters to better prepare themselves for one last deep playoff run. Warriors trade idea lands franchise legend Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson spent the first 13 years of his NBA career with the Warriors until departing for the Dallas Mavericks in free agency last summer, feeling slighted that Golden State wouldn't offer him a bigger contract after all he had done for the franchise. Now, the Warriors can rectify that mistake and bring their four-time champion back home. Sports Illustrated proposed a deal that would complete the reunion. Golden State Warriors receive Klay Thompson. Dallas Mavericks receive Buddy Hield, Tracy Jackson Davis. The biggest beneficiary of this trade is Klay Thompson. He reunites with the core of Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who won 4 titles together from 2015 to 2022. Wrote SI's Ryan Shea. Although Klay isn't the player he once was, now entering his age 35 season, he still has plenty left in the tank. His 39.1% three-point percentage remains above the league average. Combine that with the chemistry he already has with Steph and Dre, and he should see a boost in numbers across the board. The best part of this deal for Golden State is the fact that they really don't have to give up that much to bring Thompson back in the fold. Buddy Hield is a great shooter, but he was filling the role that Thompson left behind in 2024. Tracy Jackson Davis has a lot of upside as a 6'9" forward, but Golden State would have to give up something of value in order to get back a shooter like Thompson in the trade. If the Warriors are serious about having one last ride with Curry at the helm, they should do everything they can to get the band back together from their previous stretch as the league's most prominent dynasty. Warriors' dream trade target remains GOAT pairing with Steph and Curry. There's a real possibility LeBron could come to the Bay. As the Golden State Warriors offseason has dragged on, their front office, beyond resolving their lingering Jonathan Kuminga situation, has largely been focused on securing handshake deals with veterans who can provide dependable help for their rotation on relatively cheap contracts. Yet, as reported by NBA insider Jake Fisher in the latest edition of the Steinline newsletter, the Warriors have also shown an interest in big-game hunting, with their front office having inquired about a potential LeBron James trade in recent months. Although James, who is about to enter his 23rd NBA season, is certainly nearing the end of his career, pairing James with Stephen Curry would not only unite two of the best basketball players of this generation, it would serve as a culmination of an entire era of basketball history. LeBron James to Warriors continues to get more and more real. According to Fisher, Golden State has showed an enduring interest in facilitating some sort of trade for James. As long as LeBron James' future in Los Angeles remains uncertain, Golden State will undoubtedly be mentioned as a potential James suitor. I'm told that the Warriors have called the Lakers on multiple occasions over the past 18 months to see whether there is any trade pathway to pairing James with Stephen Curry. While such a trade has been among the wildest NBA rumors for years, Fisher's claim that the Warriors have made concrete contact with the Lakers front office in recent months is a revelation. Yet, at the same time, such interest makes perfect sense. As James enters the final year of his contract with Los Angeles, it has been widely rumored that he is dissatisfied with how the team has shifted its focus and roster construction towards young superstar Luka Doncic. If James decides to continue his career beyond this year, it is likely that it will be with a new franchise, with the two parties mutually agreeing to part ways. James is, clearly, still one of the most dynamic offensive players in the league. Last season, through 70 games, he averaged 24.4 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 8.2 assists while shooting 37.6% from three-point range and receiving second-team All-NBA honors. However, there is no clear path to the Warriors matching James' monstrous $52.6 million salary in a trade apart from parting with recent acquisition Jimmy Butler, a move that would represent one of the most dramatic changes of direction the franchise has undergone in years. Therefore, while an outright trade this season remains unlikely, Golden State's concrete interest in potentially pairing James with Curry certainly leaves a door open for the unlikely union to take place before the end of the two stars' careers. Warriors trade proposal lands Cavaliers' Jalen Tyson for $7.6 million center. The Golden State Warriors have had their offseason held up by contract negotiations with restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga, making no significant moves ahead of the 2025-26 campaign. However, once the Kuminga situation is resolved, the Warriors are widely expected to sign veteran big man Al Horford, which would likely leave Tracy Jackson-Davis as the odd man out at center. The Indiana product has a team option on his contract for 2026-27 and could be a trade chip if the Warriors don't feel they have a long-term use for him. Les Garrett on Oregon State's best players, number 2. The Warriors could also target additional forward help, considering Kuminga's future with the team is in question. Warriors bolster wing depth in mock trade. Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report recently compiled a mock trade that would send Jackson-Davis to the Cleveland Cavaliers in exchange for promising swingman Jalen Tyson. Warriors receive Jalen Tyson. Cavaliers receive Tracy Jackson-Davis, 2026 first-round pick, lottery protected. Tyson displayed flashes of potential in his rookie campaign but was unable to carve out a consistent role for the top-seeded team in the East during the 2024-25 season. Consistent playing time could continue to be an issue for the 22-year-old, and it would make sense for Cleveland to flip him for cost-effective frontcourt depth and a first-round pick. The 6'6" swingman appeared in just 47 regular season games last season, averaging 3.6 points and 2.0 rebounds across 9.6 minutes per game. However, he started the club's final regular season matchup April 13 with most of the team's key contributors sidelined, posting 31 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals and 1 block across 46 minutes in a 126-118 double overtime loss to the Indiana Pacers. Warriors trade proposal ends Jonathan Kuminga saga with perfect solution. The Golden State Warriors have been one of the most interesting teams in the league this summer, but they might finally put an end to their biggest headline. The past few months have been tiring for the Warriors. While the rest of the NBA landscape has made some nice moves for next season and tried to ensure a better shot at the NBA title, Golden State has simply been stuck. Of course, the Warriors' tough position has been a direct result of their restricted free agent, Jonathan Kuminga. As the two sides have failed to reach an agreement as September nears, it might be time for the Warriors to seek out an overlooked solution. Kuminga in the Windy City? The Warriors have certainly been hesitant to include Kuminga in any trade talks throughout this summer, given that they don't believe they've gotten fair value in any offer. However, they might need to rethink things, especially considering that Kuminga could be willing to take the qualifying offer and leave for nothing in 2026. As suggested by Bleacher Report's Grant Hughes, the Warriors and Bulls could simply swap Kuminga and Kobe White. White's contract bypasses the financial restrictions that have held up other trades, and he could be the perfect fit for Golden State next season. As a player who has improved in almost every season of his career, White might be an ideal backcourt partner for Stephen Curry and give the Warriors another Jordan Poole-type player. Although there's no guarantee trading for White would magically solve their problems, the Warriors would at least be able to put the Kuminga situation behind them and put their full attention on next season. Stephen Curry sounds off on Warriors' title chances with aging core. The Golden State Warriors are set to enter the 2025-26 NBA season as a potential threat to challenge for a championship in the Western Conference. Of course, the Warriors struggled at the beginning of last season, but that changed at the trade deadline when they acquired Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat to pair alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. After landing Butler, Golden State went on a scorching hot run to cap off the regular season and looked as though they were a title contender. Their success continued in the first round as they upset the number 2 seed Houston Rockets in 7 games, though their season would come to an end in the second round at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves after Curry suffered a hamstring injury in Game 1. While the Warriors were unable to advance out of the second round last season, injuries played a large role in their playoff defeat, and they will look to make another push for a championship this season. Despite this, Golden State has failed to make any moves in free agency this offseason as they continue to await a decision by restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga, and they have also been questioned as a legitimate title contender due to their star trio all being over 35 years old. Curry shares thoughts on Warriors' title chances despite aging core. While that may be an issue for the Warriors, Curry recently gave his thoughts on the Warriors' championship chance, and it is clear that he is not worried about their aging core. "We're gonna find out. I think we can. I like the identity that we have. Obviously, we have to stay healthy. That's the beautiful challenge of this game," Curry said about the Warriors' title chances with their aging core. It is clear that Curry is not concerned with the Warriors' aging core as long as they can stay healthy, which was an issue for them at the end of last season. Of course, the Warriors trio made the franchise look like a title contender at the end of last season before Curry went down in the second round with an injury, basically ending their championship hopes. They could once again look like a title contender this season with Curry, Butler, and Green still playing at a high level, but it will all ultimately depend on if they can stay healthy. Golden State also has some key areas to address in free agency this offseason that they are hopeful they will be able to take care of after Kuminga's situation is resolved, and if they are able to do so, they may be a threat in the West once again. Warriors expected to sign 4 players after Jonathan Kuminga resolution. Natasha Mack with 5 blocks versus Chicago Sky. The Golden State Warriors remain the only team in the league without a trade or free agent signing this offseason. Fans have grown restless, wondering when the front office will make its move. Coming off a second-round playoff exit, the franchise has been caught in a holding pattern. Much of it ties back to Jonathan Kuminga, whose restricted free agency has stretched on for weeks. The 22-year-old wants more security than Golden State is willing to give, while the Warriors are looking at him as a potential trade piece once a deal is signed. That situation has slowed everything else. But once Kuminga's future is settled, the Warriors already have multiple signings lined up. Via NBA insider Jake Fisher, Golden State is expected to bring in 4 players: Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, Gary Payton II, and second-round pick Will Richard. What's next for Golden State? The front office's top priority remains Kuminga. Until his contract is finalized, the roster is essentially frozen. Fisher reported that the Warriors have long anticipated these signings, with everything hinging on how Kuminga's situation shakes out. In Malcolm Brogdon's case, Golden State's long-running stalemate with restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga has contributed to the uncomfortable wait, Fisher wrote. "We won't know if the Warriors emerge with more serious interest in Brogdon until the state of their roster and luxury tax bill becomes clear in the wake of a resolution to Kuminga's fate and the subsequent signings that have been long anticipated to bring Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, Gary Payton II and second-round pick Will Richard into the Bay Area fold." Warriors expected signings. Al Horford, the veteran big man, has been linked to the Warriors throughout the offseason. At 38, his experience and locker room presence would be invaluable for a team chasing another ring. Gary Payton II, Golden State is expected to re-sign its defensive ace. He has become a staple in the Warriors' rotation and a fan favorite across multiple runs. DeAnthony Melton, injuries cut his last stint in Golden State short, but the guard is expected to make a return. If healthy, his defensive versatility and outside shooting would give the Warriors needed depth. Will Richard, Golden State's second-round pick, will be officially signed once Kuminga's situation is resolved. His development could be crucial for a roster balancing veterans and youth. Beyond those names, the Warriors are also monitoring Malcolm Brogdon. But that pursuit is less certain, as both the New York Knicks and Minnesota Timberwolves are also interested. The Warriors' reality. This offseason has been quiet in terms of moves, but not in terms of tension. Kuminga's contract stalemate has defined everything. Once that cloud lifts, the Warriors are expected to act quickly, filling key roster spots and giving Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green the support they need for another run. Golden State knows the clock is ticking. The roster cannot stay idle much longer if the franchise plans to maximize what's left of Curry's prime.